Is it 8:30?
31. Nope.
It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics, and Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, we're back.
Hello.
Welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome. Is it Wednesday already? It feels like we just did a show yesterday.
Yeah. What is it, March 25th?
I think so,
2015. Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks. Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts. Thanks for listening. Steve Ponciano with Mystery Mark. We're back. Little 2-week
hiatus.
Traipsing around Virginia for, 8 or 9 days.
How was the weather?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't bad. It was a kind of an educational trip for me, but I got a plant.
You got a plant?
I have a plant. I haven't had my own plant since, my first apartment when I was in college.
Okay. Well,
so we'll see. It still lives.
Do I need to ask why?
It is
did you
because
get a
I
plant?
kill them. I just kill them. I just
No,
forget.
why did you get one?
Because I felt like, you know what, I want a plant.
And you had to get one from Virginia?
Well, we were at some place that it was called Edible Landscaping. And they sell, all sorts of, gooseberries and lingonberries and peach trees and, grapevine things to make your own wine. And got a coffee plant. And I'm like, coffee, that seems to fit me.
Yeah.
So I have my own coffee plant now.
All right.
We'll see.
Jill's got a lot of plants. Is she going to make sure yours
No,
survives,
she's
or-
actually, I told her, leave this one alone.
Okay.
I'm going to kill it myself.
All right.
So we'll
See
see.
what
So far, it's alive. That's all I can say. No, it was fun. Virginia Beach was. It's always such a great tournament. The weather was pretty good. There a couple of issues here and there, nothing major. It was brutal playing wise.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, I'm in the worst form I've been in, and I can't even remember ever playing this bad. And it got to the point on Sunday, and I kind of figured it took me a while to figure out exactly what was going on. So now that it's all physical, but now that I figured out kind of what was going on. I'm like, okay. After the tournament, we stayed in Virginia for a few days. So, literally, I get a text from this guy who's running the Dart Player Chicago. Remember, we've been doing all these Dart Player New York results?
Right.
They started one in Chicago. And he texts me, he's like, are you going to play? And I'm like, sure. And then I immediately was like, well, this is probably not a good idea. Right?
When was it? When did you get back? You didn't get back until...
We got back Thursday.
Yeah.
And then
so it was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah, this weekend they had that.
Okay.
They had
This past weekend, right?
Yeah, so I played this tournament where basically, I survived is about all I could say. My arm fell off on Sunday, and then I didn't play all week, and I show up to play this DPC thing on Saturday, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's like I've never played before. This is terrible. So it's one thing. Here's a little tip to you people. So I lose a match to, a guy I know. He's actually been to the studio and, kind of a local player, good player. And I really, I missed a double in the second leg, and after that I didn't really play very well. And he comes up to me afterwards, put my darts away, and the guy's like, man, I never beat you. That's the worst I've ever seen you play. And I'm like, hey, thanks. Thanks for verifying the state of my game for me.
Well, yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm in terrible form.
He's trying to give you like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah. I didn't take it.
Yeah, he wasn't
kind of bad.
I
was
know the
just
guy.
Sort of like.
I know the
really,
guy too that you lost to. Yeah, he wasn't trying to rub it in by any means.
He played well. He deserved to win. I have no problem with that. It's just sort of like it's kind of like if you say the wrong thing to the wrong people after you win, it's really almost worse than what some people say when they lose. Like, what is it? I've heard people say, yeah, I'll play for money right now. It's like, dude, you just did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you should kind of watch, it's almost as if, just say nothing. Just say,
Sure,
best of everything, see around the campus or whatever. You know what I mean? There's nothing good. You can't really make a guy feel good when he played bad. If you're in one of these matches where you both play well and you come out ahead, you can both be happy.
I would agree with that. Yeah, making a comment to somebody that lost isn't really going to do any good.
Well, to me, it's okay.
Yeah.
To me, you could say pretty much anything, and I've heard it all before, and it's like, hey, believe me, I know how bad I'm playing. So I'm literally to the point now where, I shouldn't have played this thing. I should have went down to the minors and had a rehab start. You know what I mean? Guys were playing good. I was really
but you
surprised.
didn't want to miss this tournament.
No,
so.
well, I have to
this
support.
was your rehab start.
Yeah, I have. Well,
didn't work well into the next one.
I have to support, the darts I feel are worth supporting, right? And even though I'm not in good form to, I can't really win the way I'm playing right now. Just based on taking basically a month off, right? I'm rusty as all get out, but at least I'm not in any pain.
Mm-hmm.
So all that, I got a magic potion at this edible landscape place. I had this woman who put together a muscle salve based on, and it's got, and they started rattling. It's got 17 different all natural ingredients, but one is known to be like a vasodilator. One is known for this, one is known for that, and then it's all kind of set in beeswax.
Okay.
Right? And it actually smells really good. It's better than Ben Gay.
Yeah.
So I put that on basically for the whole week, and now I'm like, holy cow. I'm back to the way it should have been before Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to kind of monitor. I was talking to Pat Hewitt about it. He's kind of my age. He used to pitch when he was younger. And he's like, hey, look, I pay really close attention to how my arm feels. And if it feels this, it feels that, I shut it down. This whole deal where, my New Year's resolution was to play every day.
Right.
I kind of overdid it. So, but I really felt like I was zeroing in on something. And now I'm back at square one. This game can be so frustrating. So, so we had this DPC thing.
Correct.
Right? So,
do you want to disclaim anything before
disclaim everything I say for the rest of the show? Because I'm rusty at this too.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
And let me just say this. I mean, and I'm not going to whine about my game. I'm not the kind of player that, if I play bad, I'm going to be snarky to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's going to be like, hey, good luck. I mean, I've played matches where I didn't play well, and I didn't think the guy ahead of me played particularly well, and I remember I said one thing to one guy well, I hope they keep going in for you. Because his darts were going in at all these odd different angles, but they were catching every corner on the board. And I'm like, oh, okay. What do you want me to do about it, And then, guys out in the next round. And I'm like, well, okay. Kind of verified, kind of what I was thinking. Because, I'm all about, how does your dart look in the air? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I judge things. So some guys, I don't know, they have some weird flight to their dart. But if it's the same way every time,
the
NCAA,
basketball tournament's going on. People are making 3-pointers from 5 feet beyond the arc, and they go in, and it's just but then the next round they lose because, just sometimes they go in.
Yeah, it's darts can be a very humbling game. I must say, this is the most I've struggled with my game that I can ever remember.
If everybody parked it right in the center of everything they were aiming at,
be easier to see.
Right.
And I've said that to people. I'd be like, if you put it in the middle instead of in the corner, I'd be able to see from here.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of joking around. But it can be a really humbling game because this is the first time I ever remember really struggling for an extended period of time. And most of it is because I'm not on the board, right? I had to shut it down and all this stuff. So it's really painful, though, to be up there. Do you ever go to school and they gave you a pop quiz and you hadn't done the reading the night before?
Of course, yeah.
Or have that dream where you've been out of school for years, but then you have this dream that you're late for class and your paper's not done or something, some recurring dream like that? Did you ever get that?
I don't know if I've had. No, I haven't had that. I've had the anxiety of not just the pop quiz, of knowing you have a test the next day and not studying for it. And
well, that was what this thing on Saturday was like. I felt so totally unprepared, and I'm like, well, just do your best, and see what happens, and take it from there. So the fact that I'm pain-free right now is great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, now where was I? Like 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, where was I? Because I was working on something and it was working really good.
But you also have to figure out a practice routine now, because what you thought about playing every day didn't seem to work unless you got this miracle cure.
Well, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, I'll shut it down earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's no way that you can't put time in. If you're not putting time in on the board, you're not going to get anywhere.
No, but you might get to that point where you're putting time on the board practicing, and then all of a sudden the day before the tournament starts, if you feel anything, you're going to be like, wow, I really have to shut it down. But then I just worked all 2 weeks to play in this tournament.
Well, I mean, that's what I used to do. I mean, I used to never play on Thursday. Right, I would practice on Wednesday. I'd take Thursday off, and then because there's always a Friday night singles,
mm-hmm.
and that was working for me. I think what I'm just going to do now is if I'm going to put in 14 hours in a week, I'll make sure I don't do more than 2 a day,
mm-hmm.
and kind of see how that goes. And if I can increase it, if I feel good and nothing hurts, then maybe I'll stretch it a little bit. I'm just going to have to be like a little more proactive in the monitoring. This whole denial thing, where I tell everyone I'm 27 when I'm really 28.
Yeah,
I mean, I have to kind of deal with reality.
You realize
bit. When it comes to my arm health, which is just saying it makes me seem like a complete geek. You know what I mean? But I mean that's the reality. That's where my game's at, and right now I'm good. I mean, I don't have to play until the first weekend in May.
Okay.
Which is, I'm going to try to make the Cleveland Open this year. I think I can do it. And then I also, paid my fee to get my tour card
mm-hmm.
for the CDC, and that's starting at the end of May. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll just target those.
So how
right? So I got a whole month to get ready.
PDC that you played in, how many? There's 4 of those. Is that what?
Yeah. Well, the DPC. Dart Players Chicago.
DPC.
Yeah, they're going to have 4 of these shoots. You get points for your finishing. So I actually got points, even though I played relatively.
Because you won your first match, and
yeah. And I actually started out. I didn't play that bad. The problem that I'm having, and apparently, is like a stamina issue, where I warm up and then I play, and then when I stop to get it going again requires a little more effort than usual. So. It's kind of a weird thing. I mean, I've told you how I've seen like Bob Seneve, he's at tournaments he's throwing all the time, even when he's not playing. I figure that's just because he doesn't want to tighten up. And it's like I tightened up bad on Sunday. I mean, bad playing in the doubles. The singles wasn't actually that bad. It was the doubles that killed me. The doubles and the triples, where my arm would just lock up, and I'd be like, "Holy cow!" To the point where I can't hit like a fat 16.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just horrid kind of stuff like that. Although it was so much fun. I went down because I got knocked out in the first round. I walked down all the way to the boardwalk, which because I've never seen the boardwalk in Virginia Beach, because we stay kind of north of it, and there's I've never really had time before, so that was kind of cool. Okay, where are we on time?
We're ready for a break.
Okay, we're going to come back. We'll catch everybody up on the Premier League. We got some special stuff, and we'll be right back. All right, we're kind of winging it tonight.
views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, everybody listening. You can catch us on iTunes, TuneIn.com, Stitcher.com. We're going to be do something next week, hopefully very interesting on Twitter. We've been ignoring Twitter for...
We're going to try.
Well,
don't say we're going to do something.
No, I'm going to do it.
It's in the works.
No, I'm going to do it. We're going to have a surprise for everybody next
hopefully-
week if you follow us on Twitter. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, now's the time to do that.
Does it matter that I've
at
never
Dart
been on
Talk.
Twitter?
Nah, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. It doesn't matter. I had a long talk with
Do
Sam,
I have
the
to be
intern.
on Twitter now?
You don't have to be.
Okay.
I mean, this is a voluntary activity. It's
All
sort
right.
of like, chess club or something. I mean, it's not like we're getting paid. No, we're going to do something interesting on Twitter that I think everyone's going to like next week. So at Dart Talk, if you want to follow us on Twitter. And then we have a website, darttalk.us. Stop in. And by all means, if you need dart stuff, go to thedartzone.com, and Bill will hook you up.
Yes.
He actually was going to do a promotion last week. He sent me an email,
really?
thedartzone.com, and I'm like, sorry. Apparently, we forgot to mention we're not doing a show. I don't know how we didn't figure that one out.
Speaking of which, well, yeah, you forgot to mention it to me, but anyway. Speaking of which, we do have a new product that we might review.
Oh, yeah.
That the Dart Zone might be interested eventually, but
Okay. Can you show them on camera? We had sitting in the studio waiting for us because we haven't been here in
I
a
don't know
couple
what
of
happened.
weeks.
Oh, you have the unopened pack.
I got an email from, I think his name's Mark Stevenson,
yeah,
and he is associated with
that's what it looks like.
the Eric Bristow. Hang on, let me make sure I say it right. The Eric Bristow dart practice rings,
Right.
which are these.
So it's a set of rings.
It's a set of rings that are, some are bigger, some are smaller, and you put them in certain places on the board, and it's supposed to help you visualize where you're trying to hit a dartboard.
There's a whole menu on the back on ways to use it, stuff like that, things to do like for outs. Put different rings on various outs, 132 out, 129 out, all that stuff, and it's supposed to help you.
Okay.
And then you're supposed to track it, so like,
there's like a little chart in there.
Just put it at a 120 out, whatever rings. And
Well, okay. So this guy sends me an email, and he's like, hey, do you guys want to, like, review our product? And I'm like, yeah, sure, send it to us, and, we'd be happy to review it. We review new stuff.
Yeah.
So he sent it. So they were sitting here waiting for us today.
we just got it today, so
So you're going to immediately test them out because, just
which
looking
means
at...
I got to go. See you later. Anyway. Yes, I will. I will do my product test.
It's kind of interesting because one of the things that really put me off about soft tip when I first started playing soft tip, when I first got in front of a board, it was one of the arachnid boards that is kind of black, and I had a hard time. Like on a normal bristle dartboard, I'll pick out like a little hole, or I'll pick out something to zero in on and throw at that, but I could never do that on a soft tip board because everything looked the same. It's just like all black. Now, some of the other boards are they set up a little more easier, and that's what I always liked about the Dartslive boards is because they're translucent, you can actually, there's stuff to zero in on when you want to throw at it, right? And then, obviously, it changes the color when you want to hit a double, so that makes it a little easier. But it's the same concept, I think, with these, where it's like you're supposed to, when you go to a normal dartboard without them, you're supposed to visualize kind of the circle that you're aiming at and stuff like that. So you're going to try them out, and then next week you can give us a review.
Happens. So,
and I may try them, too, because at this point...
but yeah, thanks for sending those. And
thanks, Mark. We will definitely try them out and give everybody our honest opinion on them, right? That's all we can do.
Absolutely.
And if you guys have other products, like we did the RVB scoreboards, we thought those were kind of interesting. Remember those? What do we donate those to the kids?
We did.
Yeah. Okay, and that was very nice of those guys. And we're happy to review products if you want to send us an email, darttalk@gmail.com. and we will give everything its due consideration. And we mean that sincerely. That's not a blow-off line, even though it's used as a blow-off line by pretty much everyone that I've heard.
I mean, I'm more than happy to try these things.
You're all over this. You're immediately
Right.
like, well, this is kind of what you used to do anyway.
Yeah, I used to put little stickers on the board, little round stickers, probably the sign of
like
their...
the little gold stars you
Yeah.
get in kindergarten for...
Because of their rings, they have them labeled, and the smallest ring is called the Pro Shoot, and that's about the size of the small little happy face sticker I used to stick on the board somewhere. And
well, it seems like
this is obviously a better concept than just sticking little
right,
yellow stickers.
But the
around
idea that you would take like the because the rings are all different sizes. I don't know if you could see that. So if you take like the yellow ring, which is kind of like the middle size, and you put that in the fat of something and then try to hit 3 in there, there's plenty of like, 1s and 2s that would benefit by that. Remember where we had like our little, God, was it like 3 years ago? We did the drills where it was like beginners had to do this and then they had to do all these things before they went up.
Yes, I do remember.
And one
that.
of them, I think, was hit one in the fat and not miss. And if you miss, start over.
Yeah.
Lots of people miss the fat dart at the double, and it's one of those things where, you have to practice it. And there's nothing more infuriating than being on 61 with 2 darts and parking it in the 9.
Right.
Unless you're on 41 and you're trying to hit a fat 90 and you throw it off the board or in the double 9. That's irritating.
Well,
too,
yeah, sure.
So anyway, so we will definitely try those out. And thanks to Eric Bristow and his people for sending them along. Okay. Premier League. Should we catch everybody up?
Superdarts 2015, a little bit after the show tonight at 11 p.m. Central.
Yeah, I have the bracket, and I was going to kind of go over it, and we could make our picks. I mean, I don't know what to make of events like this, but there's a lot of good players. Some of them names are hard to pronounce. There's a lot of Japanese guys because it's in Japan, but Sean Narain's over there. Paul Lim is there. Scotty Kirchner is there. Ray Carver's there, and I'm missing somebody. There's another American there, and it's only a field of 16, so it's kind of like a one-day, almost like an exhibition shoot kind of thing. And I think Scotty Kirchner won it like 2 years ago or something, and I'm kind of like, well, I don't know what to make of. I think that we should only be covering like open events, but people are interested in how the Americans are doing, and I guess they're streaming it or something. So
they are.
If there's a link, you guys put it in the chat or something, or email it to me.
It's in the chat right now.
Or post it on our Facebook page and share it out. I apologize. I have not been on Facebook much at all for
Jeff
months.
Dotson already posted it in the link in the chat.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Jeff. Mr. Musical Director. Hope you're doing good. Miss you in Huntsville. Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook much. I need to start getting on there again. I mean, I overdosed on all the discussions. It's always like the same people, and nothing changes. They're arguing about the same stuff from 3 years ago. I mean, it's like, talk about beating a dead horse. You beat a dead horse that was buried 2 years ago. I mean, it's not going to feel it anymore.
Right.
So, but I'll maybe start getting on there again. Okay, can we?
I got you off track. So
yeah,
let's go back.
We should catch up to the Premier League.
Yes.
I have no idea where our picks are. And apparently you said we didn't pick any our last show?
Well, it doesn't seem like we picked anything.
Or you didn't write them down.
For the March 12th, we'll have to go back and listen to the show, but I don't have anything written down for picking the week 6.
Okay, well, I believe
unless we have to go all the way back.
I believe I picked Bunting, Wade, Van Gerwen, Gary Anderson, and Peter Wright.
Unless we missed week 5 as well.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
So anyway,
we'll have to go check the tape.
We're going to recap week 6.
Week 6.
12th.
Okay, so this was the right after we left, right after our last show. What do we got? Bunting played Chizzy?
Yes, and disposed of him 7-3.
Okay, so a little bit of a turnaround.
You want any stats?
If you got them.
I got them.
Okay.
Yeah, Bunting threw 100 average and 99 close match. Outs were about the same. He had a 164 finish, Bunting did.
A lot of ton 40s.
A lot of ton 40s. Well, no, they both had
10-9. Well, that's a high-scoring match.
Chizzy had 2 more 1080s too. Apparently, he just didn't finish at the right time.
Yeah, it looks like one of those things where it's like, did you throw the 12 darters on his
You
throw?
look at these stats and say there's no way it wasn't
Like
a draw
7-7,
or
6-6,
and it's
yeah.
7-3.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the stats, I don't know. I've been thinking about it. There must be a better way to do the stats that make it a little bit more like a box score. But
to realize why it was 7-3 instead of
Yeah, when you out-average the guy by half a point and you beat him 7-3, I mean, it's timing.
Your percentage on doubles was less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got more shots at it. See,
True.
Bunting had 18 shots
he
at a
had
double, and
11
Chizzy
more
only had
shots at it.
7.
Right.
So
that'll help.
So that's beating the guy down the board.
So, yeah, in effect, he hit 4 more doubles.
Yeah, but that's beating the guy down the board.
Mm-hmm.
By a little.
But
It's
just
like,
enough. Right.
well, yeah, it's timing. It's like, if the guy's sitting on 32 and you throw the, by the way, 180, and then he takes out the 32, I mean, you look good. It's closer than it looked, but not really.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
All right, so then you got James Wade beating Van Barneveld 7-3 as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have taken Wade.
Wade threw 97.
Okay, well, it's these guys
47% on Van Barneveld, 21% on his outs. Not good.
Yeah, not good. And what was his average? 80 something.
88.
Yeah. So subpar performance by Raymond,
Mm-hmm.
and James played pretty solid. Looks like.
Then you had Van Gerwen disposing of Phil Taylor 7-3 as well, with
and
107 average for Van Gerwen. Taylor almost hit 100.
Taylor 20% on his doubles.
3 out of 15. They had the same amount of shots at doubles, 15.
Yeah.
Taylor Van Gerwen almost took out 50%.
Yeah, Phil's been having trouble on the double 16 now since the World Championships, or even before that. So I don't know. It's kind of puzzling.
Looks like a close match from the stats. Just miss a few doubles and you lose 7-3.
Yeah, it looks like Van Gerwen had a few more triples in there, but I don't know that that's unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
But solid match. I don't know. To be honest, those darts that Taylor's throwing, I don't see them helping. The chubby barrels. I don't
it's
think
not helping
they help.
his doubles, that's for sure.
No, and that's probably. I would think that's kind of mental, but there's no reason why suddenly you can't hit a double 16 when you've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah, especially
you know what I mean?
when you have 3 clear at him, and
and again, to Phil's credit, for so long, no one really pressured him. He's not used to, being under pressure leg after leg after leg after leg. He'll have to get used to it when he's playing, Anderson and Van Gerwen these days, right?
Then you got Adrian Lewis losing to Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson wins 7-1, and Adrian Lewis shot 103.
Wow.
And only won 1 leg.
How many?
108, almost 109 for Gary Anderson.
What were Lewis's doubles there?
1 out of 7.
1 out of 7. Okay, well.
And he still averaged 103.
Wow.
He hit 1 double, and he averaged 103. And Anderson hit 7 out of 12, 58%. So
punishing those misses,
So not only was Adrian Lewis's 1 out of 7, his high finish was a 20.
Well, that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
Wow. Gary Anderson, I'm telling you, that guy is really he's really taken it to the next level. If you say that the top level is Van Gerwen, Anderson, and Taylor, I don't know that you'd get much argument there. Mm-hmm. And then, there's a gap for everyone else, for Wade and Adrian Lewis and whoever else you want to, stick in there.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis, you hit a couple of those doubles on 1 out of 7, and your average of 103 probably goes up to like 106.
It's all about
and
the
he probably
doubles.
still would have lost.
It's all about that base, No
And
troubles.
then in
It's
the
all about
last
the
one,
doubles.
finally a close match. Peter Wright beats Kim Heibricks 7-5.
7-5.
They both averaged around 98, 40 plus on percent on their doubles.
Yeah, I think.
See, now this average, these stats look like it should be a 5-7 match.
Yeah.
This makes sense.
I think that if you look at those stats, and they're both like just a little under 100, that's the. I don't know what to call it. That's the high pro standard now. You have to be somewhere near 100. You have to be
Well, yeah, we've been talking about that.
16
for weeks
darts or less.
now. Right.
Well, it used to be, it used to be higher. I think
Yeah.
now, if you can't consistently throw that, then you can book early flights. You can get home for dinner. I mean, you're not going anywhere unless you can consistently do that. And by consistently do that, I mean you're mixing in some 105s and 107s along the way, right? It's kind of interesting. Okay, so that was the 12th. So that was what, 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and then last week. What happened
You
last
want to
week?
take a break first, and we'll come back.
Are we already on a break?
We
Yeah.
are.
Okay. All right, we'll come back with last week's Premier League. We'll make our picks for tomorrow, and then we'll move on to something else. You listen to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark. Steve Ponselmo will be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone. TheDartZone.com is an official.
Stay in the
Cosmo.
zone. Is that better? Stay in the zone.
Yeah, it's always good to hit the switch. Ever see Fabulous Baker Boys? Don't do that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're getting back to last week's Premier League, and then we'll
Yes,
update
now
the
March
we'll update the
19th.
table, and we'll talk about tomorrow.
March 19th,
March 19th.
which we missed.
Okay.
So we had a lot closer matches than the week prior. We have James Wade and Adrian Lewis fighting to a 6-6 tie,
Okay.
where we
Wade
have
and Lewis tied.
103 and 102 averages, and 38%, both with 6 out of 16 from their doubles.
Wow, identical. Basically identical all the way
Almost
down.
a ton. 80s are
Adrian,
the same, and
yeah.
it's pretty close.
Ton 37 instead of a ton 40. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Right. Throw it a different double.
Then you have another tie between Peter Wright and Stephen Bunting. 89 for Bunting, 93 for Wright.
Okay, that's subpar.
Peter Wright threw 19 tons and Bunting only threw 8. 11 ton 40s to 4. Bunting threw really poorly.
Well, it looks like he scored poorly. But again, if he's throwing 97s instead of tons, I mean,
Yeah, 6 out of 15 on his doubles.
6 of 15's not bad.
6 out of 17 for Peter Wright, so.
That's worse. And that was another 6-6 tie. Kind of interesting how
Stephen
they're...
Bunting's probably figuring he got away with a tie.
Yeah.
I'm just going by the stats, I'm thinking.
I may go back and look at that match because, somebody's going to get relegated, and I sure hope it's not Peter Wright. But he, he and Bunting, it may have been one of
I think
those
Peter
matches
Wright's-
where...
I thought it said that last week was Peter Wright's first win.
Yeah, he's been terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't even been averaging 90 in some weeks. So, you're starting to talk about relegation, and these are two guys that are candidates for it. So it might have been one of those really kind of little extra pressure, and it showed in their play. So, yeah, that'll be interesting.
Then you have a video that we're not going to watch. Phil Taylor loses 2 weeks in a row. He loses to Van Barneveld 7-4.
Really?
And he averaged 115.
Barneveld threw 14-ton 40s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Phil
and
Taylor
3-ton 80s?
Phil Taylor threw 9-ton 80s, averaged 115, and only hit 33% of his doubles and lost.
He averaged 115 and lost?
0.8 and lost.
Well,
he missed 8 doubles.
And how many Barney missed? 9.
9. But he was 44%. Phil was 33%. He had 9 triple-ton 80s.
I wonder if that looks like that looks like a typo.
You shoot 115.
They hit the 9 instead of the 0. Well, obviously, it's one of those things where, Barneveld's right behind him, and Phil
80s.
Misses the double, and Barney hits it.
You're hitting ton 80s. He hit 14-ton 40s, so he's hitting ton 40s, and then next thing you know, he takes out. Well, he took out a 144 was his high finish. Yeah,
Phil misses a double, and then Barney takes out a 144 kind of thing. Oh, jeez, what a nightmare.
Then you got Hybrix against Gary Anderson, and Gary Anderson squeaks out a 7-5 victory.
Hybrix has been more competitive than I thought. I really thought, his first time and everything, he was taking the early train.
5 out of 20 on his doubles, though. That's bad.
Oh. That's terrible.
And shoots and throws and averages a 98.
I mean, I'm mad at if I'm 5 out of 20 on my doubles, I'm asking myself, what the heck am I doing wrong? Mm-hmm. And these guys are doing it every week. I mean, I know it's more pressure and
but you average almost 100
and
shoot 25% on your doubles. It could have been.
Well, you're scoring your first 9 darts are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys are all. It's to the point now where everybody's dialed in. When it comes to scoring. The boards are friendlier. They're using these, kind of dense boards with the long points, and you could probably get like 15 darts in that triple. It's not like the old days with the short points and the round wires and everything. It's just kind of different now. So the scoring's up for everybody.
And then your last match, Van Gerwen wins against Chisnell 7-4. Van Gerwen with the paltry 93.18 average.
What was his doubles percentage there?
41%, 7 out of 14, where his opponent only hit 4 out of 18. Probably could have made it a better match.
The real Chizzy showed up?
Yeah.
Can't hit a double?
Loses 4-7 and 4 out of 18.
I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. So we're...
Can't hit a double, but he did hit he hit an out of 143.
Yeah, well, he didn't have time to think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As opposed to sitting on the line waiting to hit your, double tag.
Get off the line, do a phantom throw, go back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to miss that one. So where are we, in the standings now? Van Gerwen's got to be first.
Here we go, yes. Van Gerwen is first. I believe he's 5-2. I just lost it. Hold on.
Okay, Anderson's probably second. I don't know who third would be.
Yeah, Van Gerwen is 5-2. Anderson is 5-0. Oh, I'm sorry. Van Gerwen's 5-0-2. 5 wins, 2 draws, and
it's Europe.
Backwards.
Yeah, they do it backwards.
He's 5-2-0, which losses being second last.
Okay.
Anderson is 5 wins, 2 losses.
So that's 10 points. You get 2 points for a win, 1 for a draw.
Van Gerwen's got 12. Chizzy's got 4 wins, 1 draw, so he's got 9 points.
That's pretty good.
Taylor's got 3 losses, 3 wins, 1 draw. He's got 7 points.
7.
Wade's got 7 points. Bunting's got 6. Wright's got 6. Barneveld's got 5. Lewis has got 5, and Hybrix has 3.
Wow.
So you have Hybrix, Lewis, and Wright with only 1 win.
So the bottom 2 are 80 and Kim Hybrix.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's weird. Yeah,
but
Barney started out so slow.
Barney and Lewis are tied as the bottom 2.
Yeah, but I bet you Barney is listed. I think they look at leg differential.
Yeah, he's got a 1 point leg differential.
Because the top 2 get dropped, or the bottom 2 get dropped at some point.
Right.
Okay, so it's like basically Van Gerwen, Anderson, and everyone else. And you got to sift through all these matches
and
to see.
Chisnell's got 9 points. I mean, after that, it's 7, 76655.
Yeah, but we've been talking all the results, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure that Chizzy's thrown that much better than Hybrix. It's been close.
I would agree with
Hybrix
that.
has been
Yeah.
competitive.
Mm-hmm.
What's Hybrix leg differential compared to?
14 compared to minus 14. Chizzy's is plus 9.
Oh well, that's 23.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, but so
Kind of weird.
But Hybrix has a leg minus 14 against minus 10 to Peter Wright, but he's only 3 points behind him.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's talk about tomorrow. Who's up tomorrow? What do we got? Where are they?
They are in Dublin.
Again?
3 Arena Dublin.
The 3 Arena in Dublin, Ireland. Okay.
March 26th. You have Adrian Lewis against Dave Chisnell.
Run through them all, and then we'll pick them.
All right. Adrian Lewis, Chisnell, Anderson, Bunting, Wright, Wade, Van Gerwen, Van Barneveld, and Taylor Hybrix.
Okay. So Lewis is in dire straits. And Chizzy's been sailing along. I don't know. Is Lewis a champion anymore? Is Lewis still a champion? Is he going to play championship darts or what? Chizzy's kind of been banging and doing well. Lewis is the guy who's supposed to have the pedigree. So show me championship darts.
Mm-hmm.
You are near relegation status.
Correct.
Okay, I say Lewis comes out with some pride and beats his.
I'm going to take Lewis because the odds have him favored.
Oh, I didn't even see that. He's favored?
He's almost 1-1, and Chizzy's 7-4. I mean, it's basically a pick.
And this is
pretty much a
this
pick-em.
is like picking Duke because they're Duke. Picking 80 because he's 80. Well, is he gonna be 80 or what?
Yeah, is he going to show up? Is he going to hit his triples?
I hate taking Chizzy. No, I'll take Adrian Lewis. Write these down. So
I am. See?
Put the time we do it on the shows in case we have to
Oh, you want that too?
pick it out. Okay, so we're both taking Lewis over Chizzy.
Gary Anderson
Okay.
against Bunting.
Okay. There's absolutely no way on earth you cannot take Gary Anderson.
Yeah, I agree.
You just can't.
No,
Yeah. It's just next.
you have Peter Wright against James Wade.
This is going to require, since James Wade is my Cincinnati. And what? Peter Wright's at the bottom or close to the bottom. Who are the bottom two? Was it? Don't look. Well, okay, you got it there.
Hybrix and Lewis.
Hybrix and Lewis.
Peter Wright, though. Peter Wright is
right there.
Well, they're a point apart, but the leg differential between Peter Wright is minus 10 to plus 4 for James Wade.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Wright hasn't shown any sort of form where you could back him. Yeah, I'll take Wade. I hate that too because I like Peter.
I'm going to
I
take
wish he'd
Wright.
get it together. Okay, so we have our first difference. I'm taking Wade and you're taking Wright.
Then you got Van Gerwen against Van Barneveld, and I'm just going to say this. RVB just beat Phil Taylor. I don't think he's going to be Van Gerwen.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's some way I can talk myself into taking Raymond. I mean, Van Gerwen won last week with kind of subpar effort, and Barney played what on paper looked to be a spectacular match. I'll have to go back and look in the archive at that match because, Raymond can do that. I just, I have not seen Raymond play good against Van Gerwen ever. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he has because, they're both Dutch, both from Holland. I mean, they must have played it. He must have played him coming up. Van Gerwen doesn't fear anybody. You can't take. Yeah, I'll take Van Gerwen.
And then you got Taylor against Hybrix. Taylor's lost 2 in a row. Hybrix is throwing all right.
And Hybrix is at the bottom of the pile.
Has to win.
I don't see. You being at the bottom having to win. Is that going to help you or hurt you?
Well,
what's your attitude going to be? I have
think
nothing to lose, or I can't lose.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're playing. When you're playing a Phil Taylor who's lost 2 in a row and is in the middle of the pack and still is.
No, he's not going to want to lose to Hybrix.
Right. If you're Hybrix against the last bottom feeder having to win, Who knows?
I don't know. Look at the standard that Phil sets week after week. Can Hybrix really exceed that without
I don't think
throwing like the best match he could possibly throw?
He's
and what are
gonna
the
have to
odds of that
average-
happening?
He's going to have to average like 110.
Hybrix?
Yeah. Or hit 70%.
Well,
of his
no,
doubles.
he's going to have to average 100 and hope, Phil still can't find 32.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see Hybrix. Even he's exceeded my expectations, but he's playing Phil. Yeah, I'll take Phil.
I don't see it either. I'm
Yeah.
going to take Phil.
So the only real match for us, we agree on 4, is
Right.
Peter Wright and James Wade, and I've got Wade.
Correct.
Okay, we'll update our records next week because we have to actually kind of tally them up, which we haven't really done. Okay, where are we on time?
We're relatively close to a break.
Relatively close to a break. Okay, we may as well pick the Superdarts. That won't take long. It's only one bracket, and I did have it up here somewhere. So let me see if I can find it. It was because I was reading off the North Americans that were in there, and I left somebody out. Right, Kirchner's there, and Sean Narain's there. Ray Carver's there. Paul Lim is there. Well, he's based in Singapore now. So where did I put it? Do you see anything that says like Super Darts or something? I could have sworn I had it here.
Ray, Darren, Sean, and Scott.
Darren, that's it. Darren's there.
Ray,
and they're
Darren.
all in separate quarters.
Yeah, in 4 outer quadrants, right.
Yeah, so it looked to me like Darren and Scotty and Paul Lim are in one half, and then Ray and Sean Narain are in the other. Lawrence Illigan, I guess they made him a wild card or something. I to be honest, I never really looked to see how they're picking who. But here's the bracket, and
Number 2 seed gets Lawrence, wild card qualifier on a hero shot and last leg decider over Butler. Whatever that means.
That means that they started out with more, and now we're down to 16, and Larry Butler's out. Calling it a hero shot, I don't really like that terminology, but some people know what it means. I just think it's mischaracterized sometimes. So let's run down who's left. You got Boris Kretschmar against Atsushi Matsumoto. Atsushi Matsumoto. I'll take the creature.
Sure, why not?
Sean Narain's playing
Do you want
Show.
me to write down all these?
No.
Or we're just taking it. We're going to pick a winner, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Sean Narain's playing Sho Katsumi. I haven't seen Sean play lately. Shows on his home turf. I don't know. I'll go by height. I'll take Sean.
Okay.
Susumu Katsuyowo against Ray Carver. I mean, I always like taking Ray in these things. I always think of Ray as a guy that, like, when push comes to shove at events like this, he's really tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him get through matches where at the beginning you're like, there's no way he's going to win. He finds a way to win. He hangs in there. He hits stuff at the right time, keeps his composure. In that sense, he's one of the top pros. In my mind, he's always one of the top pros in the U.S. I get a lot of feedback for that. A lot of locals like how people talk. But yeah, I'll take Ray there. Masumi Chino against Adrian Gray.
No idea.
Mr. 158 out.
Who's that, Adrian?
Yeah. That's the minute I see his name, I see that double 19 going in, and I'm just like, oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I take Adrian Gray. I think Ray Carver and Adrian Gray would be a great top 8 match there. Anyway, that's one half of the bracket. The other half is Paul Lim and Scotty Kirchner. I mean, I don't know what you like there.
That's a tough draw.
Scotty's won this before. Paul's won everywhere. I mean, I just don't know how Paul does it. I mean, Paul's like Bob Seneve. I mean, he's up there. He's like 60, competing with people half his age. I mean, that's. I guess it should give me hope. Let's just.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly.
Let's look at
what
it that way. All right. I don't know.
I'd take Kirchner. On a whim.
On a whim. Well, I mean, they're both fine players.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take Paul. Whatever. Yuji Iguchi against Takahiro Suzuki. I never liked Suzuki's.
No.
No, I was more of a Kawasaki guy.
Okay.
I'd like a ZX11. Suzuki's a nice.
So
bike,
Yaguchi it is.
So Yaguchi it is. Shunpei, Noji, and Darren. I take Darren.
He's gonna win.
Well, I don't. You know, it's weird.
I don't even,
mean,
I couldn't
for
tell
a
you
guy
how,
that you know.
I've never heard of Champagne Noji.
Well, I'm sure he's a fine player if
I'm
he's
sure
that
he is.
far.
Absolutely.
But you know, picking against Darren in the top 16 is sort of suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll take Darren there. And then the last one is actually, you know, Lawrence Gunnar Illigan against Haruki Muramatsu. I don't know. It's hard to pick against Lawrence. He's won so many of these things over there. So I'll take him. Muramatsu's won too. So you have your pick there. So okay, let's do it this way. I'll pick. Let's see, Darren and Gunnar. I'll take Darren in one semi, and I'll take Paul Lim in the other. So that's Darren against Paul Lim. So I'll take Darren. So Darren's in the final. On the other side, Sean Narain and the Creature. And Creature's beaten him before. I don't know. I'll take Sean and Ray, and then Adrian. I'll take Ray against Adrian, and okay, you know what? I'll put Ray in the final against Darren. That'd be hilarious. All right, so I'll take Darren over Ray in the final. Still going by height. Pretty sure Darren's taller. Okay, your turn.
I am going to take. I'll take Kirchner over
Paul Lim. Okay.
Well, I'll take him over. Yeah, and the Darren. I'll take him over Darren Young in the
So
semis.
you got Kirchner in the final.
I'll go Kirchner and. You know what? Why not? I'll see what Sean Narain can do. I'm gonna take Sean Narain
and Scotty Kirchner.
Scotty Kirchner, but Sean Narain has never won any of these.
He's made finals.
He's made finals.
Yeah.
I'll take Kirchner.
So you want
over
Scotty?
Narain.
Okay. All right. So you got Scotty over Narain, and I've got Darren over Ray. Are we a bunch of homers or what? Okay, so where are we now?
We're due for a break.
All right, we'll take our last break. We'll come back, wrap it up. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark Steve Ponce-Emma. We'll be right back.
Forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com's an official Cosmo distributor. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Some interesting stuff in there. Thanks for not updating the Flyer game anymore.
Once was enough.
I don't know what to make of the Hawks. I really don't. And, you know, Kaner going down, I was just like, oh, my gosh. Yeah, it
They'll
didn't
be
even.
all right.
Yeah, it's just and then we got
They'll
the
make
Bulls.
the playoffs, and we'll see what happens.
Chris Bryant. Bring him up. The fix is in the media for Chris Bryant, by the way. I'm not going to get sidetracked, but it's kind of like I think the Cub brass has like quietly put all the reporters, quietly kind of told them, look, this is what we kind of have to do, and we'd appreciate some support. And so now all the people writing about baseball are like, yeah, Chris is going down. And I'm like, the guy's leading the league in homers, and you're sending him down. And if you miss the playoffs by one game, I swear to God, the heads are going to roll.
You know what's going to happen, though, is 4 years down the road, when he's due for a contract, he's going elsewhere because he's going to remember the fact that they were nickel and diming him. If it's going to happen, he will not be a Cub 5 years from now.
It may be. I mean, you may be right. I mean, at some point, it's a financial decision on the player's part. All I'm saying is, like, they said it's going to be a baseball decision. If it's a baseball decision, he's there Sunday.
Baseball decision is due to the fact that they want to have that extra year of arbitration.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it.
Because it's going to kill him 4 years from now.
Anyway.
I'm telling you.
I preaching to the choir, man. I want to see the best 25 guys opening day, and he's one of them. And everybody knows it. And what's going to happen is the players are going to be looking at each other like, you got to be kidding me.
Well, except for the one player that makes the roster because he's
it's going to be Mike Oltz. And when he strikes out 9 times in the first 2 games, he's not going to be able to show his head anywhere within 100 miles of Wrigley Field. I mean, it's stupid. Anyway, I had an interesting chat with a guy in Virginia Beach. He was basically, and we've touched on this subject I don't know how many times. By the way, you got an email.
I did.
Yeah, this guy's asking if you're still playing WDA. I think he was going to ring you up and play with you. The webcam darts.
Oh, I haven't played that in a while, no.
Yeah. I told him you probably didn't have time, but are you still...
I wouldn't be against doing it again. I haven't...
Okay.
I haven't done that since I previewed it for that week.
I thought you were kind of going on there now and then.
No.
You should do that.
No. But I'm not opposed to doing it.
You got it set up at your place. You got to, can you do it? You should do it.
No, you have the tripod and the camera now. I gave it back to you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, it's just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I took that back, I could probably, as long as my cats aren't going to knock the damn thing over.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, we put an Easter background up, and it's Easter week is next week. I lost a week. I keep thinking that Easter's this Sunday, and it's not. And I've been thinking that for like 10 days. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I had an interesting talk with a guy. We'll wrap it up. In Virginia Beach, and I'm going to run this by you, and I don't know what you've got to say on it, but he was telling me his problem is that when he's home, like in his home city, and he's playing, he plays great. And when he goes to a tournament somewhere else, he plays way, way, way below what he normally plays. And he's been doing this consistently for a long time, and he's like, maybe you could do some research and kind of explain to, people, mentally, what it takes to take your game on the road. And I was telling him, well, when we first started doing the show, we had a psychiatrist, maybe we should get her back on. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we covered that. And he was really polite about it. Although somebody else said something about she liked the show, but the inane spiels she didn't need.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, well, which one? No, but it was an interesting question. I mean, we're talking about webcam darts. You're talking about people that practice and they play well, in wherever their comfort zone might be. Their local tavern, their local basement. I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, how do you take that on the road and
sure.
Mentally?
Sure.
You look at guys like Darren and Scotty Kirchner. They wherever they are, they seem to play well. So how come, like a normal guy who plays well at home, can't transfer that to the road? Well,
isn't there, who is it, Elliot Milk, that does most of his games practicing at home, and he's able to go on the road and do well, right? Wasn't it him?
Yeah. He practices kind of by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But he also plays a lot of remote stuff. And I was talking to a couple of guys the other day, a lot of people are into this, like the electronic remote play.
Okay.
Where people are trying to find competition to push them, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's
I would
kind
just
of beside the
think that,
point, but
it's all mental.
well, so what's the solution then? What would you tell this guy? Because I was kind of listening, and I was like, well, it's an interesting subject. I mean, we could probably cover it. I didn't have time to research it yet, but I mean, your gut reaction to something like that.
My gut reaction would be that when you're practicing at home, put as much pressure on yourself as possible. Instead of just practicing, play a match like against a computer, where the computer is like playing chess against a computer, where the computer's really good. You go up there and whatever you hit, make the game close, and then, say you go up there and hit a ton 40, whatever, but make it mental to yourself where, because you want to win, right?
Let me
you
run
got to practice like you want to win as well, too. So if you're playing a pretend computer where you're saying, all right, well, I just went from 296 to 156, but he's at 140. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of practice games you could do by yourself. You can't really replicate, tournament conditions, but I mean, you could kind of like challenge yourself. And, I used to do that on the board by myself. I would play 261, open in 261. I would get a point for a 6-starter. 2 points for a 6-starter, 1 point for a 9-darter, and then a negative point if it was over 9 darts, and see how high I could get, point-wise. Like I'd play to 10. That's more scoring practice. I think. Let me run this by you. You go to a tournament on the road, right? And we talk about a lot of the players. So you hear names. Ooh, that guy. I've heard of him. He must be good. Oh, that guy. I've never heard of him. I mean, it seems to me that I have played really good players that I did not know at the time, and just, it was like no big thing. And then later somebody's like, oh, you beat so-and-so? You beat so-and-so? Oh, he's really good. He's this, he's that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just played through my normal darts at the board. They went in and I won. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. But then at the same time, the first couple of times I played somebody like Gary Mawson, or the first couple times I played Darren, or some of the names, I played really horrible. I mean, nowhere near like my average game. I played like a below average game and got smoked. Well, what does that tell you? It's kind of like mentally,
Well, you're thinking about your opponent, now you're darking.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like I'm thinking about it. It's just kind of weird. It's like it changes your expectations of a match when you're playing somebody who's more well-known than you are, right? And if you don't get out much, then any tournament player is going to be more well-known than you are.
Sure.
And by well-known, I mean, I don't that's just a weird way to kind of characterize it, but it changes in your head, your own expectations, and it seems to me it kind of takes some of the wind out of your sails. It shouldn't matter who you're playing. I've heard some of the top guys say, people are complaining about these really tough first-round draws, and he's like, I love playing good guys in the first round. And it's like, well, yeah, because then, they won't get their 80 points for showing up and all this stuff.
But I think it does matter who you're playing, because just like anything else, does it matter if you're facing John Lester or John Davis?
But you
have to amp your game up because the player is better that you're facing at that time. And
then you're one of those guys that you get geeked up to play a good player. Then what happens when you're playing a player that's not as good? You're going to lower yourself to their level. That's like tennis.
Not really, but you can't.
You know what I mean? That's not good.
You have the mental capability of being able to understand that you have more shots at winning a match against this player as opposed to this top player, where you actually have to throw a lot better.
Yeah, see, I don't think that you should be thinking stuff like that. I don't think that you should be saying to yourself, oh, my God, I better hit this because I'm not going to get another chance. I mean, you're going to try to hit it anyway. So, I mean, thoughts like that shouldn't even enter your mind. I mean, you should be focused enough to execute the dart in your hand, because that's what those guys do. That's what Darren does. That's what Ray does. That's what Bob Seneve does. Congrats, Bob, by the way. I picked you. You want to play the... we have audio. I picked the winner.
We haven't even got to that yet.
Well,
And
I
we're
mentioned
almost
Virginia
out of time.
Beach, but okay.
All right,
I
listen. In the men's, we're
Yeah.
keeping the men's. I got Soldier Gates, Robbie Phillips, Joe Huffman, and Conley Litton. You have Bob Seneve, Ralph McCool, Brian Blake, and Tim Adams.
okay, so congrats. Bob beat Robbie in the final of the.
So I had the runner-up.
So you had the runner-up. That's pretty good because you
Yeah.
took him out of the second group.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, and then the seeds changed because a couple of people didn't show up. So it was kind of it messed everything up. My apologies to whoever drew my name. Sorry about that. I got out of the first round, and
But I understand what you're saying. You're not supposed to think of that. And
Any thoughts
how do you
like
get
that?
over that? And
Well,
it's tough to do.
it's mental discipline.
Mhm.
I mean, and everybody's kind of wired a little differently mentally, I think. But in actuality, if you're the kind of player that gets geeked up to play good players, great.
Mhm.
Don't fall asleep when you're playing somebody you never heard of.
Correct.
Because that's going to bite you.
Absolutely.
But it seems to me that if you look at the top guys, like you look at a guy like Darren doesn't care who he's playing. He may know that he may give more respect to a guy he's
But
played
10
before
years
than a
ago,
guy he's never
10
played
years
before.
ago, he might not have been the same. So I mean, is it that much time? Is it that much? Is it winning over the years that gets you to that point? Is it just, or is he just never cared? You don't know.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I can't speak to what goes on inside Darren's head.
No, I'm just saying, but in general, in any player, I mean, okay, Sean Narain's really, really good, okay, but he keeps getting these finals and losing. Now, 10 years from now, is he going to win all these because it's just experience and he's still basically throwing the same darts? Or did he improve? Or did he change something? You don't know. I mean, was Darren Young struggling 10 years ago where he just got really good and finally decided he didn't care about who he was playing? You don't know. I mean, maybe he was just always that way.
Right.
But
in terms of what this guy asked me, as far as taking
you
your
just have to
home
always
game
be
on the
that
road.
way.
Well, I think that any thoughts that you have that are negative end up hurting your game,
Sure.
and I don't see that in the top players. I don't see them with negative thoughts in their head.
Stand on
I think
the tee and you tell yourself you're going to slice this into the ocean. Guess what's going to happen?
Right.
You're going to slice it into the ocean.
Well, darts is the same way. I
Right.
mean,
I agree.
you have to play with a certain amount of confidence, and then you have to play with a certain amount of fearlessness.
Mhm.
You can't be afraid to miss because you have to be aggressive enough to execute whatever the shot is, right? If you're afraid of something, you're going to short arm it or put some kind of
Right.
yucky stroke on it. It's not going to go in, and if it does go in,
Right.
so that's about the only thing that I would say to this guy without doing any high level research paper kind of
Don't be afraid to
looking
miss.
around. Don't be afraid to miss, and don't care who you're playing. Worry about the dart in your hand and worry about executing the shot in front of you. Because
Yeah,
that's all the game really
if you
is.
go up there and hit consistent 60s, you're not going to win anyway. It doesn't matter who you're playing
Well,
for the most part, right? So
at the top level, that's not going to
that's
get
what
you
I'm
very
saying.
far. But there's everybody can throw a ton 40. And your ton 40s are just as good as Michael Van Gerwen's. And if you spent 50 hours a week playing, you would probably hit a lot more ton 40s a week than you're hitting now. Let's face it. But for experienced players who have been around, that have been successful locally, that are having a hard time taking their game on the road, that's the one thing I would say to them. Be like, just focus on the darts in your hand and don't worry about the other stuff.
and have fun.
And a lot.
Go to tournaments. I think when if this guy's saying he's putting so much pressure on him when he goes on the road, he's not relaxing and enjoying the fact that he's playing in a dart tournament to go compete. So, but you can't compete and not have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah. Well, if you're a real dart player, like in my mind, sheer act of delivering a dart and watching it go in, and that's its own reward. Okay, so constantly you're going on this. There's something mental going on there. There's no reason why, you can't. You know what I mean? It's all mental, and I think it just comes from not the only thing I could think of. So I kind of wanted to get your take on that, right? I mean,
in effect, it's all mental.
I mean, when I just showed up and I would just play. After 15 darts, I'm on 32. I don't like that, for about anything. I just went with my darts and I tried to execute them, and I had, I had success.
Mm-hmm.
I put the time into it, taught myself to deliver a proper dart and, put enough time into it where I could, be accurate enough to compete. It's a simple game. I mean, there's more common sense to darts than almost any sport I can think of. And I think a lot of times we get a little too...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, when you get on the road, you put a lot of pressure on yourself as opposed to being relaxed. So, you got to get over that mental state of nervousness or whatever you're doing. Just go out and play.
Yeah. I mean, pressure. I mean, put the pressure on the other person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't have any expectations. Just focus, play one dart at a time, and you take what comes. I mean,
yeah.
I think I think the bottom line, that's what you see the top pros doing. They're not going to get. You look at somebody like Darren. He's not that high when he wins, and he's not that low when he loses. I mean, he just goes and he executes, and you're not going to win them all. There's just no way.
Right.
You're going to get beat, and you're gonna underachieve, and sometimes somebody's going to overachieve on you, and you're going to run into a hot shooter, and it's just like, well, okay, on to the next match. There's nobody undefeated out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's nobody winless.
Right.
Right.
True.
So I mean, it's all about try to dial it in, and then can you keep it there?
Mm.
How long can you keep it dialed in? The longer you can keep it dialed in, better off you're going to be. Okay. We'll be back next week. We're going to have a special surprise.
Woohoo!
I did some research on
wait.
this. It's it should be cool.
I don't
think
even know what it is.
people are going to like it, and I will just say, think mammals, think cute mammals. That's
mammals.
the hint. The hint for next week is think cute mammals. And
have you seen the new Ely Pika that they just photographed?
What's
it's
that?
Not really new.
I have never heard of it.
It's don't worry, it's a cute mammal. Put it that way.
Okay, well, that isn't the surprise for next week.
No.
Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll post the Jeff, if you're still in the chat room, put the link on the Dart Talk Facebook page, and I'll share it out for the Superdarts, because they're in Japan, so they're ahead of us. So we can probably watch it later tonight.
Yeah, I think you said 11 o'clock.
Super. Well, we're not going to talk till 11, so that's good. All right, thanks everybody for listening. We will Dart Talk to everyone next week, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Everybody take care.